I'm Anil Kumar, and here is a very interesting test question on transformation of functions. The dotted line graph g of x is obtained after transformation of f of x. So this is the solid line which is of f of x, and that is the dotted line transformed function. What is the function notation of the transformed graph? So we need to write the equation for the transformed graph in terms of function notation, right? That is just the question for you. You can pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestion. Let us first analyze the situation. It seems that the graph has been reflected on the x-axis. That seems to the first place. It also seems that it has moved towards the right, and you can see that there is a vertical stretch, correct? As far as the horizontal stretch and compression is concerned, the graph spans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units, and the transformed function also spans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there is no horizontal stretch or compression, right? So what are we looking for here is one reflection on x-axis. That is the first thing which we know. And then we are also looking at vertical stretch and horizontal translation. Right? So these are the things which you could incorporate into your function and write down the equation for the transform function in function notation, right? So that is how you could do it. Now at this stage also you can actually pause and get your answer. One of my suggestion is that you can write down the coordinate points for these and see how they are related with the transform function. That could also help you to get the equation very accurately, right? So we'll approach like that also. So let me just check few values. So first, this point is at -5, so we have -5, and the x value is -5, y is -2. So that is, let us say, the point A. Let me call this as point A. Point B is -2, -3. Let me call this as B. So B dash is this one. This is A dash for us. C for us is 0. And the y value is -1. Let's say this is C. Right? So let me take another point. Let's say the end point, which is 2. Let me call this as E. I'm not writing the coordinates for, so A, B, C, D. Okay, so this is E for us. Okay, so C and C dash, and this is D and D dash, correct. So D is 2 and -2. So we have 2 and -2. D dash. Now corresponding to these points, we have A dash, which is, you can say, -4 and 1. These steps are not necessary, but they are just giving you some ideas, right? Sometimes the questions may be very difficult. This is also not a very easy question. And then we have 1, -1. And we have 3, 1. 3, 1. But that gives you some suggestion. Once you write them, then how is the x value related? X value is 1 less. Do you see that? -1. That is how x value is related. So we know that horizontal translation in this particular case is 1 unit right. So it is 1 unit right. We also know it's the reflection, so negative. Now once you reflect, it becomes +2. And how do you get 1 from +2? So that is what you have to figure it out, right? So that is the vertical stretch factor. So what do you multiply this by so that you get 1 as your answer? So when I reflect, I get from -2, I will get +2. And how do I get this value? This is what you need to do. Similarly here, when you reflect, this is at -3. So if I do reflect, then this becomes +3, right? Okay, but what is common between these two? What is the stretch factor? How do you figure that out? So good point to figure that out is from this particular gap. you can see here that this particular gap is 2 here and 1 here. So that gives you kind of idea that vertical stretch is by a factor of 2, right? So that gives you an idea. So what you can do is you can actually multiply this by -2. When you do -2, then you get 4 here, right? And how do you get from 4 the value of 1? This is what you need to figure out. Correct? How do you get from 4 the y value of 1, right? Similarly, in this particular case, if I do -3 times 2, I get 6. From 6, how do you get 3? Now that's clear. Taking away 3. Do you see that? Taking away 3. So that means 3 units down. Similarly, you can check here. -1 times -2 will give you +2. +2 minus 3 is -1. So that is how these points really help, right? So it is vertical stretch combined with vertical translation, right? And this translation is 3 units down, 3 down. Do you get the idea? So that is how you really figure out the whole transformation, right? So now combining all these terms, you can write down the transformed function g of x as equals to. So we have -2 times the function f of x, right? And in this particular function, the x values have been translated 1 unit to the right. So that means x minus 1. Do you get the idea? And vertically, we have brought down 3 units down, so -3. So that becomes the translation, right? So using your points, you can check your answer. That's the whole idea. So in such questions, you need to have a multi-prone approach so that you can actually get the right answer. Otherwise, it's not a very easy question to solve. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.